Some of them will go home without a doubt. Some of them are Republicans by DNA. Some of them voted for Trump in 2016, Biden in 2020, and have told us because of Biden's policies, because of inflation, the cost of living, they're going back to Trump.
Kamala Harris's appeal for the black male vote is insulting and patronizing. She summons Obama from his mansion on Martha's Vineyard to shame black men into voting for her. Instead of an economic agenda that she talks to white groups, that she offers Beyonce and the legalization of marijuana.
Brandon Johnson, from my heart to yours. Trump 2024. No more blue, no matter who. Donald J. Trump. Trump 2024. He gonna stop the bleeding, he gonna deal with this sanctuary city, and he gonna help us get you out, and he gonna get you anybody out who roll with you, who think they're gonna tear up Chicago, y'all getting out too.
You could, if you gave those people amnesty and allowed those people to vote, and it was very organized, you're talking about 75,000 votes over a few counties that switched everything over to the Republicans. You could see how you import 10 million people over the course of 4 years illegally, and then move a significant number of them to swing states, and then provide them with all these services, and then give them a path to citizenship. You could essentially rig those states.
Undeniably, immigration is changing our nation.
Kamala Harris is in serious trouble. And it's not just, the right or Republicans saying this anymore. The alarm bells are going off. The copium that you see from the left, especially on Twitter, is hilarious. She is just a losing candidate. She is the worst candidate, the worst presidential candidate I have ever seen in my lifetime. And I have seen from many people, they agree. Most people I know who want to vote for her, it's because they hate Trump. They're actually not voting for Harris. There's nothing to believe in with her. She is an empty shell of a human being. She just parrots the same thing over and over and over again, and thinks that the American people are stupid. And I don't care how many people they bus in for these fake rallies, how many rappers she gets to, twerk and shake and give deranged ghetto speeches. I don't care how many celebrities there were at Diddy's parties that are, supporting her. I don't care if Hollywood is all behind her. They are ramping things up with these celebrity endorsements. I mean, at the last minute, so because they think we're just so stupid that we're going to look at these people as though they're God and they're going to answer our prayers, and whatever they say, well, that's going to influence us like we're 12 years old. They think that we're not functioning adults. And it's no wonder, because she just, again, she's like a parrot, or as a person described, she's like a magic 8-ball. You just shake it up and she's just going to give you whatever Democrat platitude that comes out. Her answers don't match the questions. Her speeches are canned, and she just the same answers, and no one's buying her BS anymore.
So I was raised as a middle-class kid. I grew up a middle-class kid. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams.
The ambition, the aspiration, the dream. I started my career as a prosecutor.
I was a career prosecutor for most of my career.
Having a background as a prosecutor, I intend to create an opportunity economy.
Developing and creating an opportunity economy.
What I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy.
It is good to be back in Pennsylvania.
It really is good to be back in Wisconsin.
It is so good to be back in Michigan.
I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. In this campaign, I proudly put my record against his any day of the week. In this campaign, I'll tell you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Are you ready to make your voices heard?
Ready to make your voices heard?
Are you ready to make your voices heard? When we fight, we win! I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. We all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community. Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America. Never again. Never again. Should never again stand behind the seal of the President.
Now, you may recognize who is on the screen right there. That is John Fetterman. And he did an interview with Joe Rogan that I'm going to get to in a second. And you really need to hear what he has to say and how Joe Rogan gets him to admit the strategy that the Democrats are using and with these illegal immigrants and what they were hoping to do in order to sway votes or either get a new demographic for them so that they can win in swing states. But first, this is shocking. CNN randomly decided to expose Kamala for her doublespeak and basically lying and pandering for votes.
Tonight, mixed messages. A K-File investigation this hour finds Kamala Harris is targeting crucial battleground voters with vastly different messages on Gaza and Israel. This ad is running in Michigan, which has the largest Arab population in America.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
All right, well, it's a very different story for an ad in Pennsylvania targeting Jewish voters.
Let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
Different message. Andrew Kaczynski is out front now. So, Andrew, those obviously do sound starkly different, to say the least. Tell me more about what you found.
Yeah, that's right. And this really illustrates the sort of fine line that the Harris campaign is trying to walk here in the closing weeks, closing days of this campaign on the issue of Israel. Here you have two entirely different constituencies, and they are getting two entirely different messages. There are often times these constituencies have very opposing views on this. If you are a Jewish person in Pennsylvania, you saw that ad that you're getting. You are getting that ad that talks about how strong she is in Israel. If you're a Muslim voter in Michigan, you are getting that ad on Facebook that's talking about how she won't be silent on the issue of Gaza. Now, what's really interesting here is that ad that we just played, the one that's going to Jewish voters in Pennsylvania. Now, it sort of sounds like those two clips of her talking about Israel are together, but they actually cut part of it out. Take a listen to what they cut.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
And you've seen, too, that they cut out that portion of the ad where they talked about Gaza from her DNC speech. Those two parts were together. They sliced them. They cut that part out. Now, look, she's also getting hammered a lot on this issue by Republicans.
I cannot believe that they are pointing out her BS and how she's just lying and pandering depending on who she's trying to target. You can't nail down any of her policies. She just wants to say orange man bad, Trump is Hitler, fascist, Nazi, and none of it's working because we're not as stupid as she is. We're not gullible like the people who actually support her. We know the truth. We don't take half truths, and we listen to full clips instead of small edited things that she wants to take out of context in order to score points, but none of it is working for her.
Supporting Donald Trump because of the economy. They're supporting Donald Trump because of the border. And so you look across the country and there are many people who feel the same way, who were hoping maybe for a contrasting message for more policy details. The polling continues to reflect that many minorities and specifically swing voters in swing states want to hear more about her policy proposals, don't feel comfortable with what she said so far on some of her flip-flops. And I don't think she's provided them with the answer to that. And so when it comes to next Tuesday, it's going to be down to the margins. It could potentially come down just to Pennsylvania. And so I think they both need to be out there fighting for those same voters and, of course, pushing their bases to turn out as well.
For me, it's immigration. I myself come from an immigrant family. I'm Guatemalan. And for us, like seeing the new immigrants come in, it's just, they're more violent. It's more chaos. They do more bad than anything. And we've been here for longer than them. And it's starting to affect us more because like stuff is getting stolen. They're making us look bad as immigrants if we stayed longer than them.
I agree with the idea of mass deportation. Largely, you have criminals in this country who are destroying our nation. They're coming in here, getting earmarked bills and policies to open up businesses, get free housing, get access, easier access than those who are legally immigrated to this country to welfare and other benefits. So, like, as a taxpayer, we have to pay for these guys to have luxuries of life, and we don't get anything.
What? I thought being against illegal immigrants was racist. I thought that if you were against it, then you hate black and brown people, that you hate, you're just a bigot and you don't want, this country to be, washed with all of these minorities. But even children of immigrants, most legal immigrants that I know, they absolutely hate the open borders. They tried to turn, Haitians against Trump. They tried to turn, Puerto Ricans against Trump. And in fact, listen to what this rapper, Fat Joe, had to say in his complete disgust that Puerto Ricans are still voting for Trump.
How the hell are they going to call Puerto Rico an island of garbage? Yes. And when I post on my Instagram, these the guys you're voting for, and I see Puerto Ricans saying, no, we're still for Trump. 2024. That's the house mentality. Yeah. That's the Latino that wish he was white. Right. Those the guys in the comments. You know what I mean? Change their voice up, try to sound white, try to fill in. Those the guys, those are guys I've been fighting my whole life.
Yeah, that's right. Anyone who doesn't vote the way you want them to vote, well, they're house ninjas. And if you don't know what that term is, that's basically a derogatory term of any black person. And I guess now being Latino, he can use this word and say this and nobody is upset or calls it racist. He can say that any Puerto Rican or Latino is a house Negro who doesn't, just obey the commands of the Democrat plantation. By breaking your chains from the Democrat plantation, well, you're just trying to impress white people. You just want to be white. Not that they're voting on issues and policies and they believe that Donald Trump is a better candidate for president. They don't think that they were living better under him, that they don't believe in his policies and his agenda more. No. They just want to be white. See, when they start to lose, this is what you see. You see they're buck broken in their mind. They just cannot believe that somebody will go against the programming, that it has to be something racial, that they hate themselves. They hate their own people. They're voting against your own interests because the Democrats have done so much for black and Latino people. How dare they? And it's amazing. It's amazing. You don't hear them say the same things about the Arab and Muslim voters who are now turning against Kamala Harris and the Democrats.
Tell us, who are you, lady, please?
How did the Democrats lose your vote?
Unfortunately, Kamala Harris and Mr. Biden turning America, the superpower, the greatest power, to third world country. I never seen a president of United States was 3 times facing assassination and attempted 3 times in 3 months. Where are we? Are we in America?
You said you would have supported President Biden, but not Vice President Harris. Why?
She is borrowing the power from Mr. Trump. So all what she is hiding behind the Trump and attacking Trump.
I came home the day I met Trump, and I gave my son a MAGA hat. And I said, I guess we're there. And he said, ew. His first words to me were, ew. I said, but Baba, he said he's going to stop the war. And he said, okay, that's it. Give me that hat. We're voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community. If you're going to stop the war, even if I don't like you, I'm on your team.
Take a listen to what this man has to say about the Democrat machine and how they've had a chokehold on these communities. But thank goodness for illegal immigrants, the open border policy of Kamala Harris and how she wants all these illegals here, and how they have now made the black people, black voters and Latino voters swing voters.
Kamala Harris's appeal for the black male vote is insulting and patronizing. She summons Obama from his mansion on Martha's Vineyard to shame black men into voting for her. Instead of an economic agenda that she talks to white groups, that she offers Beyonce and the legalization of marijuana.
Y'all don't care about the U.S. Constitution at all. Y'all don't care about it at all. The city of Chicago is the most corrupt city on the planet, and it's run by a Democratic machine. And you guys have been doing this for decades. You guys have been taking our generational wealth. The blacks helping as well. And it's going to stop because Trump is getting in office. And the first thing that's going to happen is the Department of Justice is going to come here. You don't know how to govern. You don't.
So I want every gang member, no matter what you want to vote, fight for, whatever, etc. I want y'all to line them polls up. We flipping red.
I'm telling you, Brandon Johnson, from my heart to yours, Trump 2024. No more blue, no matter who. Donald J. Trump. Trump 2024. He gonna stop the bleeding. He gonna deal with this sanctuary city, and he gonna help us get you out, and he gonna get anybody out who roll with you, who think they gonna tear up Chicago. Y'all getting out too.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You focus on you, but I'm going red on my way to Freedom Land. God has given every black person everything you need. All you have to do is use what God has given you. If you don't use what you got to get what you want, you don't need what you got. Right now, what I have is my vote to go red! To go red!
Now, this is the clip you want to listen to. This is the one that is really going to tell the truth that we have all been saying, that we know that this is their agenda. And Joe Rogan has a way of pulling out answers and things that people don't want to admit to, but he takes you down that road. And even John Fetterman cannot deny what is happening and why they want these open borders, why they want these illegal immigrants, and why they want them mostly in swing states.
First Democrats saying, hey, though, we need a secure border. It's a significant issue. And if I thought there was any kinds of issues, and I've been very vigilant throughout, I've been actively involved in those kinds of things, and I've never witnessed those kinds of a thing.
But what do you mean by issues? Like, what kind of issues are you talking about? You're talking about people letting people in order to get votes?
Well, it's not. There's not that level kinds. I don't think there's that level kinds of organization.
But there is an organization that's moving these people to swing states. There's a significant number of these people that are illegal immigrants that have made their way to swing states. And then there's been calls for amnesty. There's been calls for allowing these people to have a pathway to citizenship and allow them to vote. The fear that a lot of people have is that this is a coordinated effort to take these people that you're allowing to come into the country, then you're providing them with all sorts of services like food stamps and housing and setting them up, and then providing a pathway to amnesty, and then you would have voters that would be significantly voting towards the Democrats because they're the people that enabled them to come into the country in the first place and provided them with those services. This is a big fear that people have, and that you're rigging this system and that this will turn all these states into essentially locked blue like California is?
Well, it's immigration is always going to be a tough issue in our nation. I had as a professor in grad school, Alan Simpson, and he was a United States senator. He was Wyoming, and he was actually a pro-choice Republican. I mean, how rare that would be. Well, it doesn't exist now. And he said, you are never going to have any meaningful immigration kinds of legislation. He's like, because both sides, that's useful for them, and it's going to be back and forth. And he said that 25 years ago.
Useful meaning the debate, having it always a political
it's
talking
useful
point.
For one side or the other. It's
Right.
useful, and he said there were never going to be, and he said that in 1999,
Mhm.
and I voted for the border deal, and that went down. And he said that 25 years ago, and that was absolutely true now, that they had an opportunity to do a comprehensive border, bipartisan, and that went down because Trump, he declared that's a bad deal after it was negotiated with the other side.
But didn't that deal also involve amnesty? And didn't that deal also involve a significant number of illegal aliens being allowed into the country every year? I think it was 2 million people. So it was still the same sort of situation, and their fear is exactly what I talked about, that these people will be moved to swing states, and that will be used to essentially rig those states and turn them blue forever.
Well, I'm not really sure if that's what's in play. I think it's really it's important that we have to have an honest conversation.
But doesn't that seem logical, though? If you have a significant number of people that are being moved into swing states that have come across the border illegally, and then you've provided them with all these services, you provided them with food stamps, EBT, you've provided them with housing. You could, if you gave those people amnesty and allowed those people to vote, and it was very organized. You're talking about 75,000 votes over a few counties that switched everything over to the Republicans. You could see how you import 10 million people over the course of 4 years illegally, and then move a significant number of them to swing states, and then provide them with all these services, and then give them a path to citizenship. You could essentially rig those states.
Undeniably, immigration is changing our nation. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas, but it's very clear that immigration has remade Texas, and I think it's for a good.
So there you have it. The quiet part out loud. It's what we've all known. It's what we've seen. But guys, I'm telling you now, she has no path to victory currently. I am going to do kind of an election breakdown at my prediction video. I think I'll either do it tomorrow, either Sunday or Monday, and I'll show you what I believe the electoral map will end up looking like. I actually also think that Trump is going to win the popular vote. So with that, I will see you on the next one.